Hi everyone, Fiona here from Get Primed to Thrive. The following is an extract from a conversation I had yesterday with a new member of the Get Primed to Thrive team, where I'm explaining in a relaxed, fun manner what the Get Primed to Thrive toolkit and the intensive days are all about. Forgive the quality of my voice as I'm suffering from laryngitis. I hope you enjoyed the extract and that it motivates you to join us as we help women move from getting by as survivors to flourishing in life and their very, very best life as thrivers.
So, kind of like, as I said, kind of we're satellites being bombarded by all these meteorites. And what we're trying to do is, it's like, kind of deflecting. It's like we're all the time in motion. We're all the time moving, trying to keep the worst out, and trying to deal with it. So that was the first kind of thing that I developed, was this whole thing around identity. And then, kind of over other programs and, kind of working with women on building their businesses, on leaving their jobs to start businesses of their own, on finding balance with life and family, on, kind of all of the different issues that today are assailing people. And then also deep diving into, kind of the female psyche at work, which is, kind of, it's a big part of our lives. And most women kind of just don't think about it. They just say, if I don't look at it, it's not happening. And they focus on other things. And really, if they could solve a lot of that, it would take a huge amount of pressure off them in other areas in their life,
Yeah.
And it's kind of coming to terms with the requirements, because women are ambitious. They're the same as men, but they can't come to terms with their own ambition, so they give up. Rather than finding a way to be themselves in a situation that, for me, for a lot of women in the work situation, it's like being left-handed in a right-handed world.
Yes.
Right? Kind of like, we have different values. We express those values in a different way. We have a different work ethic and a different work methodology, which is very, very successful when we're allowed to do it. But we don't fight for it. We give it up. So then what happens is that we get really tired, and it's just easier to say, just let the promotion go. I couldn't be arsed. So, kind of, we don't prepare ourselves for the promotion. So, kind of, we're not on the path. And the women who are pay too much of a price. So, you get a very, very few women who are willing to push through to the end of the funnel. We start off and we got, kind of this amount of women who start off and work at 25, and we've got this amount who are still there in some kind of managerial position in their late 40s, early 50s. They've either given up and accepted that they're not going to go any further. I live my life through, kind of my women's group, or, kind of my children, or my book club, or whatever it is. And I'll put my ambition into there, and we become bossy bitches.
I love that.
Or true though.
Bossy bitches. I like it.
And kind of, and all that ambition and all that stuff, kind of, we put that into kind of like, the dirty washing basket, and it becomes part of our shadow self, and it becomes a sense of guilt and embarrassment, and we don't want to look at it, but it's still there, and it's still festering, and it's still causing us pain, and it's the unfulfilled me, which then shows up again as the bossy bitch, because I know I'm capable. I know I can do that asshole's job. I know that there's no reason why he should be paid 30% more than I am.
No.
But I'm not willing to fight for it. And it's not for lack of fight.
No.
It's for lack of seeing a way forward, of seeing clarity. So, and that became the next big thing for me, was helping women to gain clarity. So I developed this thing called the clarity process, which is, you know, we'll send you a copy of it when we're finished, which is, they're basically 15 questions.
Okay.
That when you learn how to use it, it's like a self-coaching program.
Because one of the things now, just as we're talking.
Excellent. Because one of the things that became very clear to me, Akku, was the fact that, you know, kind of women, well, not women, just women, but everybody, you know, that the self-help books, you know, you read all the books. I spent 25 years reading self-help books. I spent 25 years doing vision boards. I spent 25 years doing visualization. Like, I started visualization, you know, 30 years ago when nobody knew what it was, you know. And I started with a guy in Ireland called Tony Quinn, and, you know, kind of, and there isn't a name that you can mention in the self-help world that I don't know, right? But, you know, it didn't stop me getting stage 4 cancer, babe, you know? Because information is not knowledge. And knowledge, the only way to produce knowledge is to bring about neurological change in your brain. You know, kind of, information is something that goes into a holding tank in an area of the brain that's called memory. But memory is only a resource, it's not a tool. So you have to be able to take it out of memory and turn it into a tool that you can use. And the big thing about self-help for me is that it doesn't teach you how to develop tools. So, you know, a tool is, you know, there's two ways of learning. There's first order learning, which is the way that we learn every day. You know, kind of, I put my hand on the cooker, I get burnt, and I realize that's not a good thing to do. You know, but if I ask myself, you know, kind of, why did I get burnt? That's a different learning. Then shit, that hurts. You know, so if you look at first order learning, you know, there's an event. An event is any experience that can be internal or external. So a memory is an event. An emotional reaction is an event. So, you know, can we have the event, then we have a reaction, and we have a result. You know, whereas second order learning is where we have the event, we have the observer switched on, which is the higher self. Okay, so, you know, the witness or the observer, people call it different things. So we have our witness switched on. The witness is looking and saying, okay, what's happening here? That brings us to reflection. Reflection gives us expanded space and time so that we don't go to that reaction. It gives us the ability to make a choice. And that choice then brings us to a behavior, which results in an action, which gives us a result. That's a very different process. And the difference between that process and the other is in the first order learning, after the event, we say, hurt. You know, and we might go as far as to say, won't do that again. But we never go to, so if I'm not going to do that again, what am I going to do? So it doesn't bring it back to reflection. Whereas second order learning, where you have made a choice, it has risen in you, it has emanated from you at a conscious level, brings you to the question, why did that not work? How could I do that differently the next time? What is it in me, rather than everybody else who's read that book, that needs to change in order for me to be able to go to be more successful or more effective in the future? So 3 basic questions. You know, what do I need to stop doing? What do I need to start doing? And what do I need to continue doing? Answer those 3 questions and you have embedded learning. So none of this is complicated. What's complicated is bringing people to the place of being in the right frame of mind for this to have an effect. And that is, you know, kind of the most, and that's what we do. You know, kind of, if we look at the 12-month program, we have the 2-day intensive, and that is making people coachable. It's literally softening them up, smoothing off their rough edges, taking them out of the place in their mind where they see everything as a threat, moving them into the area in their brain, which is the area of possibility, which is called the PEA, So you're moving them out of the negative emotional effect activator, which deals only with the amygdala. So, you know, kind of cerebellum, which is what's happening, what's going on, what does it mean to me, you know, where is the threat coming from, into the PEA, which is the positive emotional activator, which deals with the cortex, okay, which, you know, looks at the bigger picture, which, you know, kind of starts asking questions, which moves into an area of possibility. So it's making them aware that these areas exist and that it is your choice to step in and out and to know where you are when something is happening to you. You know, this doesn't bring any instant remedies, but it gives you a path, gives you a scale of emotion and behavior and, you know, kind of to move in and out of. So, you know, kind of the first 2 days are basically dealing with identity. It's saying, you know, kind of, you are not who you think you are. You know, kind of, you don't even actually know who you are, you know, because most of what you do is reactive. Do you know where those reactions are coming from? What is the source, you know, kind of that reaction? You don't know. You know, kind of what emotional need, your 6 basic emotional needs, is not being covered here. You know, and you know, kind of what cognitive, you know, kind of areas are you in? You know, are you in black and white thinking?
Yeah.
You know, kind of, so what's going on with you? So that you bring people to a place where they can actually look at themselves without beating themselves up, learn inquiry and analysis, and understand that everything they do is a tool. You just have to learn how to use that tool. So, you know, your emotions are a tool. They're not a threat. Your emotions are your GPS. They tell you when something's not working for you.
Yeah.
You know, instead of saying, "Oh God, I feel so sad," you know, "Oh, I can't do anything," you know, kind of, "I just want to drink myself to death," or "I just want to go to bed and sleep until tomorrow," which may be a good thing to do, but tell me why you want to do it. Tell me what the advantage is in doing it. Now it's a tool.
Yes.
Because now I can say the best thing for me to do is to go to bed, do a meditation before I sleep, do a meditation when I wake up, so I'm in a different space. Now it's a tool, whereas before it was the reaction. No value to you.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to keep doing the same thing. You know? So, you know, the first 2 days are about all of that, you know, kind of dealing with the shadow self. So, you know, kind of all my beach balls that I keep under the water, you know, kind of like the I'm not enough. You know, they're going to see that I'm not as intelligent as they think I am. You know, kind of, they're going to see that I'm really not a generous person. They're going to see that I'm a jealous this and I'm a this and I'm a that and I'm the other. You know, and we're all the time kind of saying, you know, kind of, don't do that because they're going to think. Don't do that because they might see. Don't. It's exhausting.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
So how we can kind of, again, critically look at those things and say, you know, kind of like, okay, am I really a not generous person? Is it true? Yeah, it seems like a very simple question. We don't ask it.
No. Yeah, that's right.
We beat ourselves up instead of simply saying, is it true that you know, have no patience? Is it actually true? You know, or is it that conditions happen where you can't, you are afraid because you're not controlling the situation, so you become impatient to gain control over something you're not controlling? Is that what your impatience is about? You know, because all impatience is about control. That's all it's about. So, you know, kind of, so that everybody begins to have the language as well, which is so important, because most people have no emotional language. They don't even know how, you know, they have 4 emotions, you know, good, bad, you know, kind of unhappy, sad, you know, and I'd say, well, and what kind of sad is that sad? Is that angry sad, or is that depressed sad? Because the conversation is going to be different depending on which sad I want to have that conversation with. You know? So then that's the first part, is kind of break the person, so that they can kind of, then start dealing with themselves.
Yeah.
Give them the tools so that they can start building their own tools.
Okay.
That's why we call it an essential toolkit.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first thing that the toolkit allows you to do is build more tools.
Okay.
Because your tools are going to be individual to you and your pyramid. So your tools depend on your DNA, your family context, what was real for you between 0 and 7, which is when your foundation was laid. What was your social context growing up, and how did that influence your experiences?
Mm-hmm.
Not confusing, again, because most people do, an experience with an event.
Yeah.
The event is the same for everybody. The experience is individual.
Individual, yeah.
How that all fits into your mental map. Kind of, what's the story of me that you've been writing all of this time, based on other people's based on how other people have sculpted and modeled you, all of those things, so that you become aware of all of that. Because if you're not aware of it, you can't do anything with it. You need somebody else to do it for you. And coaching is about being, I always say that the best coaches are the people who are working not to have any work. I want my coaches to be integral whole people who can do this for themselves going forward. Because if I'm doing it for them, I'm not a coach. Because that's not what coaching does. Coaching gets you to a place where you can do it for yourself.
Yes.
Through self-awareness. And building your own tools. Like for one person, a tool of how to deal with sadness is, kind of, I get myself into a nice hot bath with a bottle of Prosecco. But I know what I'm doing when I'm doing it and why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And that becomes my tool. For somebody else, it's, kind of go out for a night on the town with the girls. For somebody else, it's, binge on, kind of the box set of Downton Abbey. Whatever. But that that this is your tool.
Yeah.
And it's your go-to when you need to, so that you don't just sit and eat a pound of chocolates and put on weight.
That's right, yeah.
Because what you're doing is numbing. See, that's the difference between a tool and when you're just using something to distract you. When you're using something to distract you, it is a numbing process. So I just don't want to feel what I'm feeling. Whereas when you turn it into a tool, you say, this is what I'm feeling. It's okay to feel like this. I'll work through it. And the way I'm going to work through it is by relaxing in the bath. So I'm not trying to escape. I'm actually segueing with my life rather than jumping out.
Yeah.
Right? And this then, kind of is basically what that those 2 days. I mean, obviously all of that isn't in the 2 days because it would be impossible. But we touch on all of that, and then we have a webinar once. We have 12 webinars, which can be once a month, or there can be one every 2 weeks, or one every week.
Yeah.
It depends on how we decide to actually, I like to do it one every 2 weeks or one every month, because then it's not about lessons. It's the next step.
Yeah.
How is the message? How do you use that? If you talk about limiting beliefs, okay, a lot of this will be clearer to you when you see the clarity process itself. Okay. So if you talk about limiting beliefs, and you say, okay, in any issue in your life, look for the limiting beliefs. In any issue in your life, look at what of your emotional needs is not being met. In any issue in your life, how is your self-conversation, your self-talk adding to your situation? How is your self-talk, and how do you turn your self-talk into a tool? Right? Most people think of their self-talk as something that I have to escape from. And the thing about it is that it's true that 98% of your thoughts are rubbish. but there's 2% that aren't rubbish.
Yeah.
So, you know, kind of, and how do I turn that into a tool? So how do I turn my self-talk into a tool?
Yeah.
Instead of something that's there to scare me more,
Mm.
that's there to spiral me further down into this abyss of self-doubt, this abyss of limiting beliefs, emotions,
Yes.
thoughts, and language.
Yeah.
How do I kick myself? Well, the way that you do that is listen to what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen. Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen. Actually listen to yourself. And then say to yourself, is what I'm saying true? There's the tool. You know? And every time it's bring it back to, you know, when I'm coaching, every single time I'll say, and how are you going to use that?
Yeah.
And what other situation can you use that in?
Yeah.
And how does that work with this?
Yeah.
Because now I'm teaching you how to fish. See, anybody who coaches by constantly giving people fish, all I have are tools that I can pass over to you.
Yeah.
Okay? And also all I can do is help you to embed the learning as knowledge.
Yeah.
That's my job. My job is not to give you advice. My job is only to help you in the, you know, strictly come dancing, you know, kind of samba of moving from one area of your brain to another.
Yes.
And showing you how to do that. You know, like if somebody's caught in a spiral of negative thinking, and they think, you know, kind of, oh, there has to be a way to jump out of this, you know, kind of, maybe if I get pissed, you know. No, you can't do that. It's not going to work because you're not actually moving from where you are. You're just numbing where you are.
Yes.
You're putting it in pause. But if you look at where you are and say, what is the next best thing I could feel?
Yes.
So, you know, kind of, I feel sad. What's the next best thing I can feel from sad? Well, it might be angry, because angry is an emotion that has legs. It's got energy. And where can I go from anger? Well, from anger, I could go to curiosity. You know, and it's teaching people that we have everything we need. You know, nobody needs to give us anything. We have everything we need.
Yes.
What other people need to do is help to make the invisible visible.
Visible. That's right. Yeah.
It's there. It's all. We were born with it.
Yes.
We were born complete. We were born with every single thing we need in order to be successful at the game of life. The thing is that because of experiences, and mostly because of what other people told us, we put all these things into drawers and we locked them. And now we need to get those rusty keys, oil them, and look and say, you know, why did God give me emotions? To make me suffer?
Yeah.
No. Of course not.
No. Yeah.
He gave me emotions because they're a tool for living. It's like language. Language is a human technology. Our greatest power as human beings is in our use of language. We have a gene for language. It's called the FOXP2 gene. We are the only mammals who can use complex language. You can teach a baboon to say, you know, kind of bobo, banana, like, you know, with, you know, kind of gestures and utterances. But he'll never, ever, not in a million years of evolution, at least as we know the world at the moment, will that baboon be able to say, you know, kind of, Bubba really likes bananas because they're a nice bright yellow color that reminds me of the sunshine. You know? And they've got a really nice sweet taste, and I love that texture in my mouth. And they also contain vitamins and minerals, which make me feel really good and strengthen my body. No other animal will ever be able to do that. But human beings, even with a low, very low intelligence quotient, can do that. They can produce complex language because they can produce complex thought. They know how to use abstraction and imagination. We use abstraction and imagination all the time. You use abstraction and imagination to decide what you're going to make for dinner tonight. But most people don't know that they're using their creative imagination to decide what to make for dinner tonight. It's really getting across the idea that this works for everything.
Everybody. That's right. Yeah.
But it works for everything as well. It doesn't
Yes.
matter whether you're talking about an abusive relationship or wanting to get promotion in your job or looking at a career path or having problems with your teenage kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't matter because this goes beyond
Yeah.
or beneath, below or above. I don't know what the right adjective is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, or all of the above. You know, kind of this goes way beyond it or deeper. It goes deeper.
Yeah.
You know, so that you're dealing with, you know, I've got a meditation that I've said I've got. I meant to send. I was trying to send to Mary Claire last night, but I'm having problems with the computer. I developed this meditation to put out now for the new year. Okay, and it's called The Art of Being. And the idea of the meditation is that it brings you back to your authentic self.
Yeah.
So the meditation actually brings you back to the space you were in before you were conceived. Right? So this brings you back to the essence of yourself. Yourself with no name, no nationality, no gender, you know, kind of, and no context, no ties, no conditions. And essentially, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring people to a place where they have total freedom of choice. It's unconditioned freedom of choice, which also gives them full responsibility. Responsibility being the ability to respond to the context of what's happening to me.
If any of what you heard in this conversation ignited your curiosity or a desire to learn more, check out our website at www.getprimetothrive.com or drop me an email directly at fionatucker.com. Surviving is not thriving, and thriving is what you were born to do. Our mission is to be there to help you to become the best thriver you can be.